It's always a good day when good things happen to bad people. And I don't mean good things like a windfall of cash or he found his keys that he lost. I'm talking about consequence. When good things come in the way of consequence for anti-democracy activists like Rudy Giuliani, it's a good day. I'm going to read from this Politico article about how Shaye Moss and Ruby Freeman, they are now going to a court, asking a court to turn over, to relinquish, have Rudy Giuliani relinquish all his assets to settle the $148 million defamation suit that was ruled in their favor. Because he's been ducking and hiding and trying to do everything in his power, legally, not legally, I would assume, to not pay what is owed, not pay the judgment against him for defaming them, but most importantly, not even defaming them, putting their lives in danger with his election lies. Here's the headline from Politico. Georgia election workers launch bid to seize Giuliani's assets as they try to collect the $148 million defamation verdict. Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss want to seize real estate, cash, and jewelry. Which, look, just the jewelry could be a whole bunch of money. Have you ever seen the goofy rings he wears on every one of his fingers like he's a mob boss? His bracelets. He is like central casting for The Sopranos with all of the gaudy, weird, ostentatious, opulent-looking jewelry that he wears. Just a lot of pinky rings going on is all I'm saying. Here's the article from Politico. The two former Georgia election workers who won a $148 million defamation verdict against Rudy Giuliani sought a court order Friday directing him to turn over his assets, including cash, jewelry, and his Upper East Side apartment, and appointing them as receivers for his Palm Beach condominium. They also sued him in federal court, saying he tried to shield the Florida property from creditors by falsely claiming it as his residence so he could give it homestead status under the state's law. Now, you might not know if you don't live in Florida or you don't follow these things closely, but there's a lot. When Burt Reynolds, I think, is who it was. I may be wrong about that, and I don't want to defame somebody, but we'll just say when certain celebrities or notable people are getting ready to file bankruptcy, they'll move to Florida, buy a giant home, and under Florida law, the Homestead Act, your home cannot be taken as part of bankruptcy or a verdict against you. It's homestead. This is yours. It can't be taken. And you could debate whether that's a good or bad law. I personally think protections for individuals is a good thing. It's Florida, so, who knows. But if he's trying to claim that's his primary residence when actually the apartment in Manhattan is, that's a problem. He's obviously trying to do legal wrangling and maneuvering to try to get out from under paying what is owed for defaming and threatening the lives of these two ladies who were just doing their jobs. The moves by the two Georgia women, Ruby Freeman and Shaye Moss, come in the wake of a judge's dismissal of Giuliani's bankruptcy case, a decision that allowed the women, two of his biggest creditors, to begin pursuing his assets. Freeman and Moss won a defamation lawsuit against the former New York City mayor last year for falsely accusing them of committing election fraud in the 2020 election. If their effort to seize his assets and put him into receivership is successful, it would be the latest in a string of stinging losses for Giuliani. In addition to losing the defamation case, he was indicted in Arizona in April in the state's fake elector case, and he was disbarred from being a lawyer in New York in July. Remember when Donald Trump said, we're going to open up our libel laws to make it easy to sue people when they lie about you so you can make a lot of money? Remember when he said that? Well, we didn't have to open up the libel laws. All you got to do is actually win in court and take somebody to court for defaming them. $148 million is the judgment. In a court filing, lawyers for Freeman and Moss wrote that the seizure of assets and implementation of receivership were necessary because, quote, Mr. Giuliani has proven time and again that he will never voluntarily comply with court orders, much less voluntarily satisfy plaintiff's judgment. Quote, at every step, Mr. Giuliani has chosen evasion, obstruction, and outright disobedience. That strategy reaches the end of the line here. Now, you would ask, and I always like to offer the other side and what their statement on the issue is, what their claim on the other side of it is. And here it is, 2 final paragraphs showing that they're not taking this seriously, and it's victim. Oh, I'm being attacked. Oh, weaponization. After he put these civilians' lives in danger, they're not public figures. He lied about them, dispatched the MAGA mob to threaten their lives, and then lied about them over and over and over and over, accusing them of election fraud when they did no such thing. Here is Rudy Giuliani's reaction, or a spokesman's reaction. A spokesman for Rudy Giuliani, Ted Goodman, lamented that the justice system has been weaponized against Mayor Giuliani and so many others for strictly partisan political purposes. No, that is not what happened. The appeal on the objectively unreasonable $148 million verdict hasn't even been heard, yet opposing counsel continues to take steps designed to get this, to harass and intimidate Mayor Rudy Giuliani. It's Rudy who's the victim. It's Rudy who's being harassed. It's Rudy who's being, intimidated by women he is found in a court of law to have defamed, to have endangered their very lives. But it's Rudy who's the victim. There's no bottom for MAGA. There is no low too low for Republicans like this to sink. They endanger lives. They literally adjudicated in an adjudicated manner, defame someone. And then when the court comes calling for the verdict, for the money that's owed, oh, I'm being victimized. It's a weaponization. Don't break the law. There's a scene in Liar, Liar, which I just rewatched, by the way. Jim Carrey, a genius. And it's in the period where he can't tell any lies, and one of his common, regular clients who's a biker calls for advice on something, and he picks, my phone's over there, and he picks up the phone and he screams it and he goes, stop breaking the law, asshole. That's his legal advice as a lawyer. I would give Rudy Giuliani the same advice. Stop defaming people if you don't want to pay the judgments rendered against you. Stop endangering civilians, private citizens' lives with your lies if you don't want the law to come a-callin', asshole. Maybe I'll rewatch Liar, Liar. If it gives me fodder for talk, good times. Anyway, what do you think? I would throw this conversation to you. You can comment below. That'll help YouTube to share this content with new possible subscribers, and that would be a help. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I love and appreciate you. If you feel the same way and you want to help support this work, you want to help me make these videos, click the join button wherever it is. I think it's over here. See what's involved. For $2 a month, you can help support this work. Help me make these videos. You can also go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Not just for the podcast, absolutely supports the YouTube channel. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. And I'll see you next time. Till then, be genuine. Take care of one another.